Put your hands together for Josh Harris from Kean University.
Morning, y'all. That was quite the introduction from Harry. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm here to give you guys my testimony today. Harry was nice enough to ask me to share to y'all this morning. It's been quite some time since I've been up in front of this many people, so bear with me. But yeah, I'm from Virginia, like Harry said. Growing up, I grew up in a Christian household, and both my parents very strong Christians, and gave my life to Christ when I was about 3 or 4 years old. And I remember like not necessarily understanding everything that came along with that. And I remember growing up, I went to prior Christian school and such, and I transferred to public school when I was like 11 years old. And going from that transition was quite the wake-up call. And I was a really, really awkward kid, and I still am. But I remember just wanting friends, and like I would do anything to get friends. I didn't matter what it was. I just wanted friends. I wanted to be cool, and that's kind of when my faith started getting tested at a young age, and it started to falter pretty badly. And once I got to middle school, I started going through some more serious issues in my life. My parents started having some serious problems. I basically lived in an abusive household pretty much for 4 years, pretty rough. And yeah, my dad was not the best guy to me growing up. So that caused me to form a lot of anger and bitterness in my heart. And I remember I started questioning God to an extent, like, God, if this is, if you say you're all this, and why am I experiencing what I have at home? And through that time, when I was 13, 14, 15, I really just put my identity in football. Like I thought I was gonna go play football at Virginia Tech, and I was like 5'9" and 130 pounds. Like I don't know what I was thinking, but clearly I didn't. So, but yeah, I remember that was my full identity. And if anyone ever asks, like, how's that Josh Harris kid? Be like, oh yeah, he's a football player. That's all he is. And I remember started getting pushed to go to a new church by my mother. Yeah, at that church, I mean, I never really wanted to go because I was also like really shy, but she basically convinced me to go on this trip that changed my life, and it was a bike trip where you bike 180 miles over seven days. And I remember on the last day, our youth pastor was like, if you, some of us here like have given their life to Christ but have walked away from it, and if that's one of you, just please raise your hand with everyone's eyes closed. And I remember like just feeling like all the guilt and brokenness and anger and bitterness just come over me. And I put my hand up, and it didn't really even feel like it was me putting my hand up. It was like God doing it for me. And because I was like, dude, I'm too prideful to do that, but I feel like God put my hand up. And I remember that was the changing point in my life, where I gave my life to Christ. At 16 years old, I recommitted my life to Christ. And from there on, I mean, it was obviously still tough. And thankfully, God delivered me from a lot of sins and anger as well, and gave me forgiveness towards my father, which is a hard thing for me to do. But from there on, I mean, I was blessed to start FCA at my high school down in Virginia. I led that for 2 years, and then I came to Kean, which was quite another culture shock, like coming from Virginia to New Jersey. I got no clue what y'all doing with these houses, but where y'all yards at, but that was like quite the wake-up call for me as well. But I mean, once you get to college, that's like where the real fight begins, because that's where your faith gets tested once again. And I really did not have much like Christian fellowship my freshman and sophomore years, but I always wanted to start FCA at Kean. And this past fall, we started meeting before games, just the football guys. Before our games, and I just share a little bit and pray. And every week it grew. We started off with 10. By the end of the season, we had about 45 guys coming. And it was just amazing. Coach Garrett and Coach Kreider, they've supported me the whole way. I want to thank them. And from there on, I mean, we were blessed to be able to start FCA officially at Kean with Harry's help and such. And I just can't be more thankful. And no matter what, I believe FCA is the most important thing I will do in college. It doesn't matter how good I do on the football field or how bad I do. That's not my identity anymore. And just one verse I want to share with y'all before I get down off the stage is Romans 12:2, which says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to rest or to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." That is one of the biggest verses that stuck with me throughout my Christian lifestyle. And when it gets tough, I always think about that verse. So I want to thank y'all for having me up here once again. And just know that no matter how small or insignificant you think you are, God can use you. So thank you, Harry, once again.